time to catch the buzz in the Auto Bazaar. Welcome, I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. We get started with a cracking episode as always. A look at the lineup. The A5's Cabriolet version, now in India, we have the review. Royal Enfield's Rider Mania rides down to Goa. And the top bike launches at the 2017 edition of the India Bike Week. Now, the first time we saw the Audi A5, it was the Cabriolet, and that was the time I'd got a chance to drive the car in Spain. But that was months ago, and it wasn't the India spec. We now have the cars here in India. We know it's a diesel only, and we've got a pretty decent spec when it comes to the feature list as well. Take a look at the review of the Indian version of the Audi A5 Cabrio.
We've already brought you our review of the India spec Audi A5 in its two Sportback avatars. But now it's time for some open top fun.
The A5 in any of its body types has to be the prettiest looking car that you've seen. But my favorite is this one, the Cabriolet version. Because look at that, the Gotland green as it called them, and that brick red soft fabric right there. It looks absolutely stunning. Obviously, you might think that yes, it looks similar to the A4. Well, yes, there is a bit of Audi's design template to it, but the curves on the bonnet right there and some of the lines right up above the wheel arch actually make it completely different to look at, which is why this is one of the prettiest things you'll see from the Audi stable currently in India. And we get behind the wheel to actually figure out if it's worth a buy.
The Cabriolet is quite luxuriously trimmed. It gets high quality leather and unveneered wood. You might think that the grey upholstery is a bit dull on this one, but it works pretty well. However, some of the trim is part of the S-Line package, which is optional, and many of the goodies on this car, like the virtual cockpit digital dials, LED headlamps, navigation, flat bottom steering, and the Bang & Olufsen sound system are all optional extras. You do get standard features like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and speakers built into the front seat belts so you can hear phone calls or music even when the roof's down. By the way, getting that roof down takes just 18 seconds and can be done at speeds of up to 50 km per hour. It is very apparent right away that this car is pretty big compared to the A3 convertible and hence realistically more spacious at the rear.
It's actually quite comfortable here up and back in the rear seat, because I have space for my legs as well, and they aren't hitting the seat at all. In fact, the scooped back seats actually help that. But what is interesting to see is that 6-footers can make their way back here. Not for a long journey though, but perhaps for a drive into the city and back home or something like that. But it's fairly comfortable, more comfortable actually than the A3 Cabriolet. And you also get a rear AC vent, which the rear occupants can actually operate very easily. Overall then, this is very usable space. At the back you have a 380 litre of boot space, which is also quite good, isn't it?
Of course, the question now to be addressed is why Audi chose to bring us the diesel-powered convertible and not offer a standard petrol, and not just the S5 Sportback.
Now there might be those of you sitting on your sofa set and grumbling, saying, oh, why didn't they bring the 2-litre petrol instead of the 2-litre diesel? It's already there on the Q7, grumble, 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 and I couldn't agree with you more. But the 2-litre diesel is assembled in India, and it makes so much business sense to bring it here in this car. It's not bad at all. 190 brake horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque on offer, and it just goes. You downshift and it flies. What more do you want? And in all of that, you don't even understand if it's diesel because the sound is so well curtailed. So NVH levels are brilliant on this one. What takes you by surprise is the steering. It's well weighted. It's not, I mean, you can't compare it to a BMW or a Jaguar, but yeah, it's going to be that level soon, and you can feel that in this car. It's fun to drive, and even with the top down, it's absolutely fun. So I have driven the A3 Cabriolet, and I didn't quite enjoy the downsized engine. You try and do that, but the 2-liter diesel is absolute fun, and all you do is downshift and just go and let the wind in your hair. Oh man.
But this one is not a sports car. It's more of a cruiser and is a relatively large two-door car that weighs nearly 2 tons, which is why you notice a bit of flex in the chassis when going over bumps and speed breakers. The suspension is really well calibrated, and nowhere is it as bouncy or floaty as the A4. In fact, this is the calibration they should have chosen for all cars on this platform in India. The A5 Cabriolet does have a direct rival in the form of the Mercedes-Benz C300 Cabriolet, but the one major difference is that car uses a petrol engine. Look past the diesel though, and you'll see that the open-top A5 is a pretty sensible pick. It's got room for 4, decent amount of boot space for your luggage, and offers a comfortable ride. The cabin is remarkably quiet with the roof up, and it's just got that feel-good factor because of the way it looks both on the inside and out. And at 67,51,000 rupees, it's the kind of car that you just want to drive into the sunset without a care in the world.
Oh man.
Now let's take a quick look at the big launches, the big news that came out of the India Bike Week. It's always a lot of fun for all the fun activities and all the excitement and enthusiasm that comes in with that, but it's become a great platform for a lot of manufacturers to also get us product news. Those new launches then is really what becomes most exciting for us. Preetham was there. These are the top 5 launches.
The India Bike Week has had the largest turnout of motorcycle riders and fans this year, ever since the event was started 5 years ago. The 2017 edition of what is called Asia's largest biking festival also had several new motorcycle launches and unveils. From cruisers, touring bikes, retro models, and to a radically designed flat tracker. Here's a look at the top 5 bikes at the India Bike Week. Triumph motorcycles clearly dominated the India Bike Week festival this year with sheer numbers. More than 150 Triumph riders rode into the festival in Goa in time for the British motorcycle manufacturer's India debut of its upcoming cruiser, the Triumph Bonneville Speedmaster. The Speedmaster will be launched sometime early next year, and it attracted a lot of attention. It's essentially a brand new model in the Triumph Bonneville range, based on the Bonneville Bobber, but with easy ergonomics and a pillion seat as well. The Speedmaster will be the most affordable cruiser in Triumph's motorcycle lineup once it's launched. Cruisers definitely seem to be the flavor, and Indian Motorcycle launched a brand new model in the Indian Scout series, the Indian Scout Bobber. Priced at 12,99,000 rupees ex-showroom, the Scout Bobber pays homage to the stripped-down bobbers of 1940s America. Staying true to its bobber name, the bike gets chopped fenders, a street tracker style handlebar, nice leather single seat, and a low slung look. Bookings have already begun, and deliveries of the new Scout Bobber will begin next month.
This is going to add more youngsters in the Indian motorcycle customer base. So far, most of the customers have been 35 years, 40 years, 50 years. They are very nice people, young at heart. we felt that maybe we can get some youth also in, and that's how Scout Bubber has been launched.
The India Bike Week at Goa this year was BMW Motorrad India's first outing. And the German motorcycle manufacturer announced their arrival with not one but two new motorcycle launches. First, the BMW R9T Racer, a new cafe racer model in the BMW R9T range. A retro-looking single round headlight with a frame-mounted half-fairing, round analog clocks, seat humps, rear set foot pegs and a vintage BMW Motorsport paint scheme certainly makes the R9T Racer stand out. Priced at 17,30,000 rupees ex-showroom, it's certainly not what you'd call the affordable cafe racer, but it's still priced below the standard BMW R9T. Next up is the new BMW K1600B, a new bagger based on the K1600 GTL touring motorcycle. The K1600B has a lower, stretched out look with a shorter windscreen and permanently bolted side panniers. It's certainly one of the premium and expensive bikes from BMW Motorrad, with a price tag of 29 lakh rupees. Harley-Davidson threw a surprise at the India Bike Week by unveiling the Street 750 Flat Tracker. Based on the Harley-Davidson Street 750, the Flat Tracker has minimal bodywork, a slender fuel tank and a single seat. And Harley-Davidson took the opportunity to showcase what flat track racing is all about, with riders demonstrating the unique cornering technique around the track, sliding and kicking up dust, while a crowd of onlookers watched on. There are no plans as yet to launch a production version yet, but Harley-Davidson says there are some exciting plans with the Street 750 Flat Tracker.
Let's take a short break here. We come back with plenty more.